Hey, welcome to Taking It Down this week. On this week's episode, we'll give a little talk of the return of the House of the Dragon on HBO, and then we'll have a lot of focus on Widow's Bay, its first season, and its finale. I'll get Adam and Donovan in here, and we will begin.
Alabama take projection.
Here we are. Welcome to Adam and welcome to Donovan. Probably a lot of listeners are reveling in that first episode of House of the Dragon right now, but we'll be a week behind if we decide to give it conversation.
Lucky bastards.
We record on Sunday. We'll watch it soon enough. Donovan, you were a pretty big fan of the last season.
I actually was, while feeling like kind of ambivalent about the first season.
Yeah.
2-year break makes it like, am I going to jump back into this? But I felt like the second season was big, did a lot of things that were fun. And frankly, if you just give me an episode that thrills the shit out of me, like the big dragon battle episode.
Oh, not Daemon walking around an empty castle?
They never would show full frontal, so that kind of lost some points there for me. Although I do actually, I think that like Matt Smith came more into his own. I like all the actors. I like the actors that play Aemon and the other one, the boys. So I think there's some good stuff going on there. I'm excited for this season. I could be setting myself up for disappointment, but I like seeing peasants get roasted.
I thought what won you over was the bros coming into the dragon cave and attempting to hop on one.
They were peasants.
They were, some. How well versed are you in the Targaryen tale?
Not at all. I guess I could read it, but I haven't read anything Game of Thrones related since I read the last book that came out, although I have read some other things by George R.R. Martin since then. Just
simple recall. Are you going to have to read up on it?
They bone their siblings. That's what I remember.
Yes. We'll put a check mark down and pass. It was pass-fail question.
I remember that this is I remember the origins of this dynastic struggle well enough. At a certain point, it's like these two people dislike each other. I think that the show actually did do a good job of this thing has a life of its own now. And so they're not going to stop fighting until something horrible happens.
Mm-hmm. The one thing I'm a little fuzzy on is there was a twin who she was out alone and had kind of ran into a dragon.
Oh, man, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, me either.
I guess I'll have to check the Wikipedia page.
Same.
Oh, I do kind of remember that. We'll do our research. Listeners, write in and tell me who these people are.
Up first this week in real conversation is the last episode of Widow's Bay from Apple TV with Matthew Reese as the mayor of the New England island town. We're in non-spoilers here at the beginning of the podcast, so let me ask you if the series was as good at ending as you believed it was throughout.
Yes.
Yes. I think the important thing, it's kind of a spoiler, but we're in non-spoilers, and it's safe to say because everybody knows it, the last episode of season 1 of Widow's Bay.
True. It's got its season 2 officially.
It's sort of taking its victory lap right now too, with the critical, the critical consensus is rising.
It's a breakout hit, though. Maybe not the most popular Apple TV show. Still, it feels like everybody's talking about it.
It bounces on their little dashboard. It bounces around between 1 and 2.
Yeah,
it's been a fun one to track. A lot of the time with television, I have friends who they're probably watching the same thing. Outside of the three of us, obviously, we're texting about these things, but. Still on Netflix, there's some Adam Sandler movie that I've never heard of that was actually the top thing that weekend. So clearly, I'm not really, but who talks about it, But with Widow's Bay, it does feel like one of the rare times that I'm seeing the breakout hit happen, in my friend group too. I had friends who weeks 1 and 2 were like, you should check this show out. And then gradually you see the word of mouth thing happen. And it's just really cool when a band or when a show or when anything kind of people are excited and talking to each other about it.
Yeah, I feel like there was nothing almost like a somewhat like tepid response when it first came out. And then like as the weeks have gone on, I assume as people have watched it with increasing delight, they've realized how fun it is and how good it is at what it's doing. And deservedly, it's getting a lot of attention, which is awesome.
There's like a level of, you don't want to call it pluckiness, because this is a show with like award-winning actors being put on by Apple. You know, it doesn't
Right.
it doesn't really need for us to advocate for it necessarily, but it does feel like, oh, this is, you know, oh, I saw this show early. You know, this is our, we have to root for this show, kind of in a way, like it's some like little indie thing. But obviously,
It does feel like something that could have struggled to find its audience, especially with like horror is hard, comedy is hard. Combining those two and somehow being really good at both,
it's a double negative, Donovan.
is really hard.
I know we're all English majors here, but that's just how it works.
Both of those things make it so hard to gauge its greatness. It's so damn subtle. It's easy to brush off as, oh, it's kind of scary and it's pretty funny, and that's the show. But those two things, along with its depth of definition, makes it great, but also hard to see its greatness and hard to really pinpoint.
Because they're doing great characters all along too, and just
Absolutely.
good, heartfelt writing is what pulls those two elements together to me, and like makes it a great show. Which I think now that season 1 is over, I'm comfortable saying this was a great season of television.
Same. It felt like it was doing a balancing act. I think how you asked how I liked the last episode. The last episode, like all the other episodes, somehow manages to show the quirky facets of these characters. They have a situation where Matthew Rhys is earning his money. There's a reason he's in this role. And it's really brutal and really sad, and it's hilarious the whole time. That's tough.
Yeah, it is. I know you've gone to the trophy store and bought up a lot of awards to give to Spider Noir, but is Widow's Bay the second best series of the year?
Widow's Bay is my favorite series of the year so far. The winner of the Better Than It Needs to Be award, because it really didn't have to be this good. The Spider Noir gets the crazier than it has to be award, but that's just Nicolas Cage. Everyone else is fairly normal. He's insane.
We will talk about Cape Fear and possibly Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed some next week. Probably House of the Dragon, at least some, with only one episode there under our belt next week. What we'll do is we'll take a break here so that we can talk about some spoilers with Widow's Bay. The whole season's up for grabs, especially that finale. Many interviews can ramble, or maybe the host asks the same questions you've all heard answered. Not with Short Takes. Not only does Short Takes have the guests you want to know more about, but also the summer series manages to go in depth with just 4 questions. Back again this summer, Short Takes will air new episodes each Friday on the YouTube channel for the Alabama Take. Click the link in the show notes to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you'll know exactly when each episode of Short Takes premieres. No sense in wasting time. Let's get back into Widow's Bay finale called We Hope You Enjoyed Your Stay. It's where Tom finds out that Ruth isn't the last descendant. The town gets incredibly antsy in the shelter, and the storm comes to a close once the janitor dies mysteriously in the basement of City Hall. Talk about some seriously dark comedy in the opening moments with Tom rummaging through Ruth's medical files, and he's saying, come on, cancer.
Cancer. Wow. And then he gets to a file, and the doctor's just written like, wow. Like she's so...
Yeah, her blood pressure or something. It's just incredible. He does instead find that she's been prescribed 2 different types of medications that she should not take together. One was Valium, and the other, I think, was a pain medication, and for which I say, bullshit. You can take 2 and even 3 of those bad boys together. You'll be fine.
Well, we're in spoilers, so that's why she didn't die, Blaine.
I know. Well, she has the constitution of a 15-year-old, probably, so it didn't affect her whatsoever. Just got her a little sleepy.
I would like to nominate her, actually, for line of the show, and the actor whose name I cannot remember. Or not line of the show, sorry, line of the episode. as she's getting increasingly loopy. And she's just like, the pull-out method just does not work. And the way she said it was great.
I was going to give her a line of the episode too, but only for a different one, where she says, he got bit by an animal and became that animal.
Oh, that was so good.
And then the look on Tom's face, of course, helped me laugh more, where he was thinking, what? But he doesn't.
Out of all the weird things, I feel like they have, if you're creating the show and you don't know there's going to be a season 2, they have put so many little grenades throughout the season that if you had to go back and you're like, you know what, we want some more of that show, just grab hold of one of those. And that's like an entire
Hold the
season.
pen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, the family tree alone is how many seasons of television?
Lesbians.
Speaking of her, when Rosemary angrily intones, didn't include me, guess I'll go fuck myself. That was a brilliant delivery as well.
This episode, I feel like it's really easy to talk about the things that I thought were funny, and I can kind of fall into that just because for me, that is kind of proof of how good it is. But one of the things I really did like about this episode is that everyone, like all of the supporting characters, are really firing on full cylinders, even if they're just doing silly things. Like Jeff Hiller's Dale got a chance to really steal the show by whipping up some panic, and it was very funny, and it felt like every supporting character had like their little moment where we got to see like what we've learned about them. We get to see, except for the janitor, he's dead.
His name was Kenny, by the way.
Kenny?
Well, it's the whole, they killed Kenny.
Yeah.
That's kind of, it might have been a nod to that.
Incredible.
Yeah.
He's not actually dead. He'll be back in the first episode of next season.
No, that really would be a South Park.
No one will bat an eye.
This episode, more than anything else, I think, did a great job of developing the real horror, which is dirtbag teens.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's back. The girlfriend's,
Dirtbags. Gonna smoke pot.
Miss, let's dig through your dad's stuff, is back this week.
She doesn't hold up to any scrutiny, right?
No.
And
I feel like there's got to be. If they don't address that next season, I'll be a little disappointed.
It does seem like a thread they could.
PJ, right?
PJ
Is the buddy's name. That guy's bad news.
He's bad
He is
news,
bad
but
news.
he's
See, that's the thing. Evan's not really a bad kid, but PJ? PJ winds him up.
Well, let the debates rage until we see the next season. Is PJ somehow tied to the people making decisions about who goes in there? He shut that door pretty quick.
He did shut that door. That's true.
He lured him down there.
Now, he did ask to be strapped in the chair.
yeah, he does. I don't know. Hard to say.
Do these kids go to school together?
Well, it's
like in a run-room schoolhouse? Do they have to be separated
You would
by their
think-
teacher?
Well,
Yeah,
probably.
If they were in my classroom, yes. Let's go to the scenes at Ruth's house. Were you guys familiar with that Tennessee Williams quote? She reads,
I don't remember what it's from, but I'd heard it before.
wow, I thought it was a wonderful sentiment that we love by sharing art, and that art could be almost anything, being a parent's an art, a writer, anything.
This was, I think, just another great example of where, like, they just balance the line so well with the poignant, because it is truly a poignant quote. But she's also, like, taking her sampler off the wall, and she's like, oh, can't read that. And you can see where she's like she's stitched it too small. So, like, it's right. And yet it doesn't ruin either.
It's not an ideal quote to have as stitching. It's the
It was
link.
that made me laugh. The stuff in Ruth's house, I think, with, like, as Tom, like, increasingly finds out what a good person she is like very funny. But also, like, Matthew Reese is really, he's playing it completely straight. He's like trying to figure out if he's going to kill this person.
Yeah.
It was
And it was great.
so unbelievably tense on both sides, because I don't know about y'all, but the whole time I'm thinking, is she about to launch herself across the room at
Yes.
him with some sort of supernatural force? Because this would not be out of step with the rest of the show, really. I mean, it's
I
kind of
felt the
trained
same
us to, and you have this trope of this, not helpless, but, as Patricia says the episode before, this woman makes us birthday cakes. Like, although when they show her walking when he first comes in, one, it's funny because like there's a storm that's already killed somebody on the island, right? Like that's happening as they meet, and she's just in there getting her steps in, just not worried about it. And so I'm
2
thinking,
miles.
I'm thinking the whole time, like, is he going to find her in this state of relaxation because she knows she can't be killed because she's part of this? What does she know the facts of her lineage, you know? And then you get there and you're thinking, is she going to do something to him? And they do things like the steps. And then when she like pretty much runs up the stairs,
Yeah.
and they make a point to show her very swift little feet going. And I don't know. So on the one hand, you're like when it's a little bit into it, but he walks back down with the pillow, you know, and you have that happening. And then so it's like, is he going to do something ultra violent? Is she going to explode in violence? But it ends up being a lovely conversation between someone who ends up being his mother-in-law.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was, again, a balancing act. Like I'm astounded, but like it's the one of the things that makes it so good is I'm astounded in the moment, but it is not something that I'm just watching like abstractly. You know how like sometimes a Kubrick film maybe can feel a little cold. You know, there's a kind of icy perfection to it. This is like I'm involved with this. It's funny.
You're talking about Tom coming into the house. They filmed it very well. They had a couple of moments where Tom looked dangerous. Walking up to Ruth's house was reminiscent of how the boogeyman looked. Keeping him out of frame in her living room, shooting Ruth on the couch, and having the doorway of the living room cut him off just created that dread you're talking about, that he might do something really violent with the pillow, but yet he's out of shot, so you don't know where he is. Is he near? Is he far? Is he running toward her, you know?
Well, you just don't know that much about her. And, you know, you wonder, again, I really, did you guys not think she could just do something batshit crazy the entire time?
Yeah.
I was like ready for a jump scare.
They were setting it up like that.
Yeah.
For sure. And like you said, the whole show at this point has primed us to think like nothing's off the table.
Yeah. And so now you're left wondering, like, how much does she know, you know, or her response to the stitched quote and really all the crazy things that happen kind of brought the whole show into focus a bit, where she essentially, and I'll paraphrase here, you know, if you've only ever lived on that island, then what is normal?
Yeah.
You know, like it's just life, you know, and she equates all of these weird things to, well, we go through some weird stuff in normal life, you know, like there are diseases that just show up and wipe you out, or all of a sudden things turn out, you know what I mean? So for her to just be like this peaceful roll with the punches kind of person, you know, I do think she is not telling us everything that she knows. And I think we are meant to think until season 2, like, is she withholding it because it's just her life and you don't think to tell this guy everything about your life? Why would you? Or is she strategically not saying everything? Little hints, like the mayor who's Howard the coward, you know, like what is he a coward for?
Yeah, right.
What all has she seen? I mean, if Wick has seen all of these things and has this knowledge, then she should have that much more, right?
That's right.
But it did make it kind of this heartwarming thing. Again, we keep saying like they're doing the horror and the comedy so well, but the undercurrent is just like good writing and good character development and good feels.
Yep.
Her just kind of being like, yeah, that's life. What are you going to do?
I agree with you, Adam. I thought that was great because like a car crash is as scary as like
the
a
sea
werewolf
witch
attack or something, right? Yeah, like you can get hurt in real life too. Like real life is just as scary.
Yeah.
Tom's the antagonist to her protagonist in this episode. And they did that with him bringing up the trolley dilemma, and she explains how she sees it. That there's nothing you can really do but maybe enjoy life with love, and he thinks that you have to kill saving folks that you love.
Sharp-eared listeners will remember that Adam brought this up last week, so I bought him an award as well.
Is that in the mail?
It's in the mail.
No, that's great.
And then Tom and the sheriff believed the same thing, which put them at odds at the very end of the episode because Tom's kind of come around.
It does seem like there's possibly going to be like a recalibration of what's our goal here.
Yeah, I think that would
with
happen.
the island. You know, like it seems like they're going for broke on we have to do X, Y, and Z to just rid everything once and for all. And once they accept that that's not how that's going to play out, probably like what happens next.
How shocked were you that the sheriff did come in and try to kill her? He did.
I thought it was great.
Pretty high tension.
It made sense to me, especially if it's setting up Tom and the sheriff to be at loggerheads, because obviously the last descendant being Evan, they're similar characters in the sense that they will both do anything for their son and newly born child. I forget if it's a son or daughter. So I thought it was excellent. Like it played off of Tom so well.
Adam also brought up, is Tom in denial about a lot of what's going on? And he does admit to what he thinks is a dying Ruth that he's denied a lot since his wife had the stroke. He realized there's more going on here than he would be willing to admit to himself and very much to others. And he's denied it too long. And so, of course, then we get the biggest reveal of them all, that Evan is of the lineage. We suspected that would happen somehow or another. Were you shocked at all? Were you surprised at all that Evan is
No.
part of
It made sense.
That seemed like a foregone conclusion to me.
I think so too. It had to in order to get the stakes incredibly high, it would have to be that Tom's one huge love of his life remaining, Evan, has to be in danger at some point.
Yep, absolutely.
I do wonder, Donovan, you mentioned Tom and the sheriff ending up as potentially foils to one another moving forward. And like I'm curious because they both seemed so, especially the sheriff, so even-keeled all season that it made his response that much more earned. Like, this is a logical choice, right? You go here and if I kill this woman, then my child, who is going to be born any second, doesn't have this lifelong curse. When that's not successful and they see that, that scene when everything stops outside, does everybody get together and compare notes and say, what just happened to y'all last night, and then get like a cohesive strategy? Or is there going to be like episodes of information, like the telephone game,
Right.
like who knows what? Because why would the sheriff and Tom not work together?
Everyone seems to have little pockets of information too. Like Dale, as far as we know, is the only one who watched the videos. So Dale, as far as we know, is the only one who knows about the church bell, because they weren't able to find that out from the pastor.
Right. Well, I mean, you wonder if when Tom and Evan are standing beside the water at the end, oh, what a great last shot too.
Yeah.
Where the bells toll, they toll for thee, You just wonder, does Tom already know in that moment, all right, 8 people.
Yep.
Here's my question to you guys. I've seen a couple of critics note that the ringing of the bell at the very end in that final shot is to be taken that the island needs that many more deaths. I thought it was acknowledging that it had gotten that many and things were kind of coming to a close, at least for a year or two or whatever.
No, I think because the first episode, I think it's 8, right? That it tolls in the last one.
It is 8.
Yep.
I did count
And
those.
there's 9 in the first one.
Oh, okay.
So it has accepted 1 and will continue. The beatings will continue until morale improves. It needs 8 more lives.
So in the end, it's all about something that requires a death of people afraid in order to be satisfied.
How creepy was that? The footage where they're all like in their underwear with the things over their head. That was like genuinely unsettling.
It was, and it was the most scary the show's been.
Yeah.
In that video, where it was probably an old mayor explaining it was two sets of videos. One was for the people who were going to be sacrificed, and one was for the people who were guiding them into it. Both was creepy.
Just a hair's breadth away from being, "Hi, I'm Troy McClure." And
it was so good.
It was almost that.
I imagine that these are the kind of videos that you would see if like you were in Shirley Jackson's The Lottery, if you were like prepped for your roles. Like I thought they did. It was good.
That was exactly what I was reminded of, how they have to sacrifice however many numbers they're supposed to that time. It did remind me of Shirley Jackson's writing. That sound design, I don't know if you noticed it, particularly when they were coming out of the shelter, was super well done. I think this may have been another episode of television where I watched with the headphones. I've gotten into the habit, now that we have an Apple TV player instead of a Roku, it will pair with my headphones just at a snap. So I'll listen to television with headphones on. It's pretty magnificent. You can notice some subtle sound design elements. So yeah, the island needs death in order to survive and demands it from the townspeople. Scariest scene of them all, and then Jeff Hiller's reaction watching those old movie reels was somehow or another, once again, scary and funny, with his mouth fully open and in shock.
When he comes out and he's all like ashen faced, and like you just know he's about to lose his top.
His reaction, I know I pointed it out last week, but when Tom is trying to get his attention on the radio from the thing, and he's like, "Hey, what's that?" That was deeply relatable, and his mouth agape watching this was also just like, this man is not a hero. I mean, he may end up being a hero, but this is a human reaction to this.
And speaking of things you get to play with next season, he still doesn't have a backstory, but you know that they have something for him if needed.
I've seen critics say, like, you don't hire him without some heavy lifting in the future.
That's my feeling, too, because, like, he's been great and a fun peripheral character, but if they don't have more, I'd say that would be underused.
Yeah.
Because he can obviously do it.
What to make of the note Patricia sees and tucks away? That's never really mentioned other than she sees it on a scrap of cloth.
I mean, that has to be left from one of the sacrifices, right?
What did it say? Remind me.
That's my assumption.
I mean, it was something like, if you're reading this, I'm probably already dead, right?
That's what it was. If you're reading this, I'm already dead.
Okay.
That may not be it verbatim, but
okay,
quite an unsettling thing to...
Also how I read it, that it's from one of the sacrifices.
Yeah. Well, and you have to think, I need to go back and rewatch the priest, his scenes, when he finds out about the bell, when he does his descent into the tunnels, and then when he comes back and encounters the teenagers. Some folks have said that he points directly at PJ when he's talking about the evil that's on the island. So I don't know if he's discovered something about him down there, but this is the only person up until Dale at the end that knows what's happening, right? And he goes and hangs himself. So, and
he destroys all the evidence too, so that nobody else will know what's happening.
Right. All those scenes would be very interesting to revisit with the knowledge, as would all of Ruth's scenes, I think, knowing what's actually going on there.
She has to be home every day at 3 to help her neighbor.
You find these things out, right? Like she actually has this very full calendar. It's not that she's going home for a nap.
She can't stay at work because she's helping.
Yeah.
Yep.
Up the stairs and down the stairs. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, or something like onto the porch or outside and inside, I think.
She's got the group she meets with to write and share stories.
She's doing the writing group.
Fantastic.
That's how Frankenstein was written. She's no Mary Shelley, though.
That's what she says. Even stuff like, she grows her own herbs, and she's, it's just like...
She doesn't waste herbs.
The sadness in Tom's eyes as this keeps going on is...
I've got to prolong this possible murder. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Or when he chose the wrong tea, she's like, that takes 27 minutes.
Yeah.
She's like, Tom, I'm not going to waste herbs.
She got very Southern there.
She did.
Well, there is a hint of Southern Gothic to a lot of these
Yeah.
individual tales.
I mean, I think that's the great thing about the Gothic is it does have these resonances. And I also think that for all of the sense that, and the truth that things are very different between, say, Mississippi and Maine, there's things that are very similar too. You know, there's things that are like, you know, small towns are small towns.
It's the best Shirley Jackson adaptation we've had that wasn't really a Shirley Jackson adaptation.
That's true. I love the homage, perhaps, to Salem's Lot with the font, you know, the Widow's Bay font that when it starts in. I feel like there was some, or maybe not even Stephen King, but it felt like very intentionally like a 70s or 80s paperback that you read at the beach.
Yes. Any final ideas, thoughts on the finale or the season as a whole?
I've got two. One is, and I've already kind of talked a bit about it. Where does Ruth fit in the town picture? Obviously, she's been around. We would assume there may be some older folks, but she has seen a lot of the history. She understands a lot. She is of the lineage. Would she have been a part of the committee or whatever it was, cabal of people choosing who goes in?
I was wondering about that too.
Is she aware of that? Does she have to carve some time out in her calendar to go to those meetings? Like, what is the state of that? There are people making decisions somewhere on the island, right?
Or at least were back then.
Back then. Is Tom, as the Lord Protector, supposed to be doing that? Is that why he runs unopposed? Probably. Two, we haven't really talked about Wick this episode.
No.
He was great. I thought the scenes with him in the shelter were very good. You think of him as this tough guy, and then he talks about how quick the panic can break out, and you really do wonder, like, can Wick keep this under control? That was a great part of the tension. But even better than that was when Tom is on the radio with Patricia, and she says, "You don't have to do this." And you hear Wick in the background going, "Yes, you do."
Yeah.
And that line was so good. I had to get it a shout out in there.
One more chance at them being the good angel, bad angel on Tom's shoulder.
It made
matter
me
of fact.
laugh. Stephen Root is a treasure.
Agreed. I always love to see him.
I wish I could go back, speaking of going back, to myself at episode 1 and 2 and say, "Hey, buddy, it's going to be okay. Just enjoy it.
It's really good.
It's real good. You're going to love it."
Will you guys rewatch it before season 2?
I might. I liked it. And it helps that it's not an hour long and that there's only 10 episodes. And it's a fun place to visit.
I don't know if this is Apple's MO, but they have a lot of shows going now that run at that 35 to 42 minute range.
It's perfect.
It seems just spot on. The only one I think that's airing now that's kind of big is Cape Fear. It's about 50 minutes, sometimes 52.
That's more in the,
That's the usual, right?
It feels like Apple, like HBO's done that too, where like you'll have, like they'll have like a couple longer episodes, but then it cuts back down to 30, and it'll kind of vary depending on how long it needs to be, but it kind of hits around that range.
I imagine House of the Dragon this evening will be an hour and 15 minutes, probably.
It better be.
Well,
I've been waiting for 2 years.
Some things you do want, but other things you want in those 35 minutes.
Episode length and things like that are interesting to talk about, especially because I think in this conversation, you can look back at some of those Netflix series that were clearly committed to being an hour long and had like 3 episodes too many. But I think the flip side of it, and it kind of worked perfectly for this, but you know, it did, like the shorter length did always kind of leave me wanting more, which I don't know. I'm sure someone has studied this, but I'd be curious how my reaction would change if I just had that extra 10 minutes.
I think it was perfect.
I do too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was perfectly paced.
Yeah.
And I liked that, yeah, we had some shorter episodes, but it was able to spread, and we had some longer ones kind of as needed.
Yeah, this finale was a little
which
longer.
I think made it, and the first one I think was a little longer, maybe the first and second. So I think that helps it not feel constrained.
Yeah, well, that's going to be it for us this week. I always appreciate Adam and Donovan's time and our listeners for joining us each week. For Adam and Donovan, I'm Blaine. And if they're herding you into the shelter Just be careful. Have a nice week.